Good morning, students. This is Mr. Sulik posting a video for STEM for Tuesday, May 26th. I hope you had a great weekend. Wonderful weather outside. Hopefully, you were able to get out and spend some quality time with your family. Wanted to go over a couple things in today's video relating to work from last week. Last week, we started learning Newton's laws of motion, the first, second, and third law of motion. We are trying to relate this to space exploration, but really the laws of motion applies to anything that's in our gravitational pull here on Earth. So just quickly flashing up those two assignments, the laws of motion, first and second law of motion, those are due today. So if you hadn't had an opportunity to work on that last week, try to take some time today and get that finished up. It was actually a series of videos. I think it was 2 or 3 videos, and then a Google document that went along with it. So if you haven't turned it in, work on getting that turned in today, as it is due today. We'll be posting probably that grade either Wednesday or Thursday. Second of all, the other assignment, this one's not due until later this week, Thursday, but this was examining Newton's third law of motion, as well as a short Quizlet vocabulary review. So both those assignments are due this week. For those of you that are all caught up and don't need to work on the work from last week, I'm going to have you move on to our Newton's law of motion demonstration project. The good news. This is the only lesson I'll be posting this week. So don't feel like you're going to get piled on again with another lesson on Thursday. And in fact, I don't believe I am even posting a new lesson next week, Tuesday. With that being said, do understand that I'll be posting quick videos, just more or less check-in type of things. Just a reminder that I'm available if you have any questions or you're having tech issues, something I can help with. Understand, just because I'm not posting a new lesson, this is what you should be working on. Okay, so this demonstration project, trying to make it a little bit more hands-on. Got a little blurb about Sir Isaac Newton, who you're familiar with, a quick review of Newton's 3 laws of motion. Okay, most of these are pretty consistent with the lessons that I posted last week, whether it's the first, second, or third law of motion. I'm not going to take a lot of time with that because by the time you get to this, you should have been reviewing and getting through that with the work last week. So here are your options. After learning the 3 laws of motion, option number 1 would be to create a poster or use a large piece of drawing paper, maybe 11 by 18 or piece of butcher paper. If you do have poster board, I'm not expecting you to run out and buy anything, something that you have around the house. Piece of paper won't cut it though, okay? It does need to be something rather large. Put detail, put color, put description into it. I'll go over the rubric in a little bit. Take some time with it. When you're finished with it, take a picture of it. You may want to just take the picture right off of your Chromebook, or you can take it with a phone and download it. However, what I need is for you to submit it through Google Classroom. If that is a challenge, or you're not able to do that, what I'm going to ask you to do then is to email it to me directly, but I would prefer that it goes right through Google Classroom, just like almost all of your assignments do. Option B is to create a brochure, a detailed brochure. You've probably done assignments or projects similar to this. When you're done with your brochure, if you create it by hand, again, just like you would with the poster, take a picture of it and turn it into Google Classroom. You could also do this in a digital format. You could be done by creating a brochure using Google Documents. So what I did is I posted a video link right here that kind of shows you how to do a 2-sided brochure. So it would have to be 2-sided, just like a brochure that you would get if you went, let's say, to your dentist's office or an orthodontic appointment, something like that. Option C would be to create a PowerPoint presentations. I really should call it slide presentation because that's what you would be creating out of Google Slides. I suppose if you did it out of PowerPoint, that wouldn't be a problem. I just don't know how well that downloads to Google Classroom. So you're best off probably just using Google Slides. We're going to require a little bit of work. Should not exceed 12 slides, but it does need to be at least a minimum of 8 slides. Okay, I don't need that's all folks, the end type of slide, but there should be some sort of introduction. Again, refer to the rubric as far as what's expected of you. And again, you would turn that in through Google Classroom. Option D, which I think is probably the most fun. I wouldn't say it's the least amount of work, but I think this is the one where you get to be a little bit more creative, is this basically create a video that runs through examples of all 3 laws of motion. I have posted a couple of examples, one that's a little bit longer for a class that was specifically doing what we're doing. Another one's a little bit shorter, but uses ping pong, the game of ping pong, explaining the way, how to do it. I know video editing software, you can do some really great things on your phone. Just be mindful of that. You have to be mindful of how are you going to be able to get that video to me. Okay, so something that can be downloaded. I've had some students in the past post things to YouTube. I'm not necessarily telling you to do that, but sometimes that is an easier way to share that link. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. So the directions as far as the project goes is, first you'll need to state each law, how it's written in your notebook or another source. Now you don't have a notebook, so your other source would be the information that you saw on document or on the first page of this, or refer to the assignments that you completed last week. Then find at least 2 real-world pictures that illustrate each law. So options A, B, and C, that's pretty self-explanatory. Option D, with the video, you would actually perform that particular law of motion. And if you watch either one of those 2 examples, I think those students do a pretty good job of showing various types of examples, okay? Pictures can be from magazines, real photos, your friends printed out from the internet. Again, that's more applicable to options A, B, and C in the video. You would actually be performing that particular law of motion. Just make sure that things are labeled. You're telling me what I should be seeing, like a caption maybe for each picture that you do use, and then come up with a description. Now, the description in the video would be a little bit different in the sense that it'd be more of a verbal explanation. However, I've had students in the past do videos where they do the action, they don't do any narration in the background, and they'll like hold up a sign like this is 3rd law and kind of spell it out. That way they don't have to get voice recorded if that's not something you're comfortable. Again, option D is going to be evaluated a little bit different if you pick it. I'm not going to say it's easier or harder. Just if that's something that you're more interested in doing, go ahead and do that. So again, option A, poster. Option B, brochure. Option C, PowerPoint or slide presentation. And then option D is creating a video. The rubric, how are you being evaluated? And again, the video evaluation will be done a little bit different, but basically brochure, poster, PowerPoint, format, quality. Obviously, I need to put some effort into what you're doing, making sure that you're showing me, the 3 laws of motion in a different format. Okay, so using the tools that are on your computer or any art materials that you may have at home that you could use in order to complete this would be totally fine. I know I've gone over this pretty brief. I'm trying to keep these videos in under 10 minutes or so. If you have questions, and I'm sure there will be questions, please feel free to reach out to me through email. Spent most of the last night just catching up on things that were submitted through Google Classroom. I'll be spending the rest of my afternoon doing that as well. But starting tomorrow, my focus will be answering questions specifically about this project. However, if you're having any trouble, from previous assignments, please reach out to me. I am meeting with students through Google Meet as well. So if that's something that you want to use, as well. This, just because of social distancing and whatnot, I don't have a problem if you get some help from mom or dad or brother and sister at home, but I'm not going to encourage and probably discourage working with a friend on that. It's not going to work as well. And quite honestly, um, I want to know specifically what you know, not necessarily you and a group of friends. So I always get that question, hey, can I work with a friend on this? You want to work with somebody that you live with, but at the same time, this should be something done individually. Okay. Again, demonstration project won't be due until next week, Tuesday. I will post just a kind of a check-in video on Thursday, but there won't be another new assignment. Next week will basically be a short quiz on vocabulary terms related to laws of motion, and then we'll wrap everything up next week, Thursday. Hard to believe we are closing in last 8 days of school. Have a good one, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.